what's up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of She's Got Game. So today we have pro hooper and player for the Women's British Basketball League, Tierra Hodges. So how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm glad we finally got to meet.
I know. I'm so glad. Thank you for reaching out. I think what you're doing is great. So I was more than happy to join.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I've seen your YouTube videos and stuff like that. I've been watching. So I definitely aspire to be in your position in the near future. So, yeah. All right. So let's get right into it. So we're here to talk about your journey and everything like that. So what initially got you started playing basketball?
Oh, man. My parents, I think I grew up with 3 other siblings. So we all started playing sports at a very young age. Everything that my parents could put us in: basketball, soccer, softball, track, cheerleading. We did a little bit of everything. So I was kind of immersed into sports since I was 5 years old. So played it all throughout, elementary school, middle school. And then when I got to the middle school I was in Georgia, they didn't have a basketball team, the person I went to. So I ended up playing softball for a few years, and I really got into softball. Mainly, but when I got to high school is when I kind of started playing basketball again and got really serious about it. And then eventually I quit softball and every other sport and just focused on basketball from really like 100% from the 10th grade up until now.
Okay.
So it was a whole lot of dibbling, dabbling into a whole bunch of different things, but basketball ended up being the first love.
So you said you started taking it serious once you got to high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I remember I tried out in 8th grade because I haven't played basketball in 2 years when I got to 8th grade. And I tried out for the team in 8th grade and I did not know what they was like, what position you play. I was like, I don't know. All of them. I don't know. So, and I kind of got back into 8th grade and then I just fell in love with it again. And here we are.
Okay, that sounds really good because I hear it's a lot different overseas. My dad, he owns a pro team here in Costa Rica, so we have some guys who didn't start playing basketball until they were in high school and stuff like that. So you can kind of see it's like a little bit different overseas. You don't have to be playing like forever. I feel like it's just the work you put in.
Yeah, there's a lot of teammates that I was in Finland last year. Of course, England this year. And there's a lot of my teammates that didn't start playing until they were 15, 16 years old. So like I think in Europe it is common to start playing a lot like later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And so did you end up playing AAU throughout high school or anything like that?
Like that. Yeah, so I started training outside of I started personal training 10th grade. And my 2 trainers, they started an AAU team that same year. So I played on their team with some other players. And then, so I played with them 10th grade year summer and then 11th grade year summer going into my senior year. So I only did 2 years of AAU. And I kind of wish I would have played longer. Well, of course, how I grew up, it kind of made it hard. But I do wonder sometimes if I would have played longer, would I have been, recruited by more schools, or like how kind of things would have went? Because I wasn't known really coming out of high school, so I wasn't recruited by a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. So you always kind of wonder, but I do still think that Furman was the best choice for me. So
yeah,
I think it worked out the way it was supposed to in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like you're doing pretty well for yourself in the sport and everything, so it all worked out. So more about Furman. So walk me through the process of you kind of being able to play in college and where exactly. You said Furman, but where it's located and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Furman is in Greenville, South Carolina. It was about 2.5 hours from where I was, which I think was perfect for kind of the distance I wanted to be from home. It is a small liberal arts school. So the process of getting there, it was quite a journey, I would say. Because like I said, I wasn't heavily recruited or heavily known coming out of high school. So honestly, at one point, I didn't even know if I was going to go to school for basketball. Like I was prepared to, applying for academic scholarships and just looking to go for just academics. But my trainers actually, I give them all the praise because they're really the reason why, a big reason why I, am on this journey, because I really wanted to give up at one point. I was like, nobody's recruiting me. I don't know what else to do, but like one thing they have said and that I say to myself this day is like, keep your head down and work. Like, stay in the gym, stay ready. Your time is going to come, but you have to make sure you're ready to show out and prove it once it comes. So they had a lot of connections as well as my high school coaches. So I went on a few visits to Georgia State. I think I went to one to Georgia College. Furman was one, and I was supposed to go to Arkansas State the week after I went to Furman. And these were all unofficial visits. I didn't go on the official visits. So I didn't go on my visit to Furman until April, and we graduated in May. So that was really late. So I went on my official visit to Furman, met the coaches, school, did all the, the good stuff, tours and all that stuff. And I literally felt like home from then. Like, all the players were like welcoming. It was just, I don't know, it felt comfortable. It felt comfortable. And with Coach Carson being like a Black female head coach, like that was a big thing for me as well. But yeah, so I did the tour. I did play pickup with the team, and I don't know. It just, when I talked to her, I was like, yeah. I told my mom, I was like, this just feels right. It just feels comfortable here. Like, I feel like I could really do things here, and how like I fit in with the team playing as well. That was like, it just felt comfortable. I felt comfortable. So I went home and, I had some conversation with my parents and my coach and stuff like that. And I was supposed to go to Arkansas State for a visit that following week. I was like, nah, I think I'm good. I was like, yeah, I think this is what I want. So I called her back and committed a few days later, and that was that. And it was just like, it was like a thank you God moment, because literally 2 weeks before that, I didn't think I was going to school for basketball. And then the opportunity came. I went up there. I proved or showed that I was capable. They offered. I accepted, and voila.
Wow.
I had a scholarship. So yeah, it was all last minute, but I don't know. But it also I think that also, like, not signing till late, I feel like is a big reason why I was so successful in college, because I know that there was a big chance I wasn't going to be here. You know what I mean? Like, the coach took a chance on me. So I went there saying like, all right, I'm going to prove to everybody why y'all should have recruited me out of high school, or why, all these different things. And it was kind of a chip on my shoulder that I played with from the beginning. So, which I think helped propel me throughout those, 6 years I was there.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That's really a blessing. It's a good story. And I feel like going through situations like that really builds character. So that's probably why you're playing at the level you're playing at today. So you got to the college and you said you were really comfortable. It was a good environment. How was it playing all the years that you played? You said you played 6 years, right?
Yes, I did. So my sophomore year, I tore my ACL preseason. So that was September in 2017. So that gave me, of course, my 5th year if I wanted to take it, which I did. And then unfortunately, my 5th year was COVID year, 2020. So that was all crazy. And then they ended up giving us back that year, of course. So I, decided to take my 6th year. But that journey through college, that was 6 years. It went by quick, I'll say that. But that was I learned a lot. Of course, tearing my ACL, having to sit out a year. I was able to, learn the game and view the game from, as you can say, a coach's standpoint. And I actually got to learn it, actually just watch it, sit there through every practice, every game, just watching the game, learning it that way. And then playing behind the upperclassmen that I played with, I learned a lot from them and coaches and everything. But I would say the biggest reason why I was so successful in college is because, one, having that chip on my shoulder, I was always the hardest worker in the room. I feel like I was always just you might be better than me, but you're not going to outwork me. That was my mentality coming in freshman year. I knew, I didn't expect nothing coming in freshman year. Because, I was under the impression when you go to college, freshmen don't play, freshmen sit, So I was like, you know what, just work your hardest and see what happens. And I ended up starting actually a lot of games my freshman year.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just kind of just going through and just working, giving 100% of what I can every day. That's kind of what propelled me. And I was a gym rat. I was a gym rat. Like, I really feel like I was really successful because of what I did on my own rather than practice. Because, you know, everybody practices. We all get those hours. But,
Mm-hmm.
like, I separate hours I put in when no one was watching. And the fact that I actually enjoy putting in hours and, like, it didn't feel like work to me. Like, I loved being in the gym. That was my calm. That was my, you know, my getaway from class and work and papers and all other
Mm-hmm.
college. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't
definitely
know,
can
did that
relate
answer
to
your
that.
question? I don't know if you want me to say anything
Yeah, of
else.
course. That was perfect. Uh-huh. And yeah, I can definitely relate. I mean, it's part of the process being a gym rat and stuff. Here in Costa Rica, my dad does basketball, like training and stuff like that. So I'm always in the gym. I've always been in the gym since I was like younger. So I definitely can relate, especially getting kind of a late start because we moved from Texas and I was playing AAU, but now in Costa Rica, the basketball level is kind of lower. So I had to play on the first division team, but you know, it's like there's politics and a whole lot of other stuff involved, especially when you're not like a recruit. I'm like the youngest out there, so it's going to be a whole lot of stuff outside of basketball that you have to deal with. So that's definitely inspiring to hear somebody else who's kind of just putting their head down and grinding and the outcome that you've been able to achieve and stuff like that. That's really inspiring. So, what was playing overseas always in your plans throughout college or throughout playing in general, or how would that work?
I wouldn't say it was in my plans from the beginning, but as I got like to my last few years of college, I kind of like, you know how when you get to middle school, you're like, okay, what's next? High school. Okay, high
Mm-hmm.
school. Okay, what's next? College. Okay, college. And you get to thinking like, okay, what's next? I was like, well, I kind of don't want to be done playing. Like, I like doing this. And the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I can get paid for it, I was like, yeah. So I think like junior, senior year is kind of when I was like, yeah, I think the goal is to continue playing because I knew
Okay.
the love I had for the game. I didn't want it to be done just after college, and I felt like I had the like skill and opportunity to play and be successful, and everybody was telling me I did. So I was like, oh, I guess that's what we're doing.
That's good to hear. And yeah, it's like that's mainly the reason I started this podcast because a lot of young girls playing in AAU or just taking basketball seriously, they want to stop. They want to make it at this D1 level, but that's it. That's kind of like their dream, their goal. But I feel like if you put in so much hours, like your whole life, like there's no point in just stopping at college. And I feel like overseas isn't really shown that much in the media because everybody wants to go to the league and stuff like that. And not a lot of people know that WNBA players, like in the off season, they go overseas. So it's like I kind of took this opportunity to kind of talk to more women who played overseas, get more insight on the ins and outs of the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, nobody really talks about it as much. So
Yeah, that's kind of. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you got it, you got it.
No, I was saying like that's it's really good that you do that, and that's what I also try to do with my the YouTube channel that you watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I was coming overseas, I was looking on YouTube trying to find videos. You know, there's men all over YouTube
Everywhere.
about their day in their life and this, just seeing what it's like for them. And I was like, can I see this from a woman's perspective? I need to know what it's like
Yes.
because I know it's completely different. I mean, in ways from a woman and men playing overseas. So I was like, when I got to Finland, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to just start documenting this a little bit just so people would know. And it's also for me as well, because something I would have in the future. So it's kind of more of a hobby thing at first. But then it's like, okay, well, might as well just show people so people get a little glimpse of what it's like because people don't know. Like, and it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
want to do something you know nothing about. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, so I really applaud you for doing this because this will help a lot of people kind of just get a little glimpse of what it's like and talking to real people about their real experiences. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, like you said, there's no videos, maybe like 5 girls I've seen on YouTube, and some of them
yeah.
just started, and I'm like, I don't know. But I know there's a lot of girls out here who play overseas. There's a lot of them who are American and in a whole new country or whatever the case may be. But I think it's something that we should all start kind of influencing the overseas, not only playing, but kind of just showing the outside world, documenting, posting on YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. So yeah, I really like what you're doing. And yeah, so pretty much.
Okay.
So in college, how were you able to balance basketball and studies and stuff? So I know you said you were a gym rat, so you kind of, I know college is definitely a different level academically as well as in basketball. So how are you able to balance that?
I would say for freshman year, we got a lot of help because we had mandatory study hall hours. So no matter what grade point average, they didn't care from what was it? It depended on our schedule because some days we had early practice, some days we had late practice. So it was I would say it was typically between like 6 and 8 or 7 and 9. It was some kind of like that. But you had like 2, 3 hours where you had to go to this specific place and that was like your study hall hours. So I think freshman year that really helped too because it's of course it is an adjustment period moving from high school to college and the class load and all that stuff is a lot harder. So I'll say freshman year it was the study hall made it a lot easier. And like when we traveled for basketball, we had like they would try to make space for us and like hotel stuff like that so we can go and like be by ourselves and study stuff like that. And then we also had like notices that we would give to our professors at the beginning of the semester saying like, okay, these are the classes I'm going to miss. These are la la la. So you can go ahead and like be productive at like letting your teachers know, okay, I'm gonna be gone for this exam or this whatever, and then you can kind of figure it out with your professor how you want to turn in those assignments. But usually they're pretty good at helping you with that. But it's also kind of it's a like you kind of got to be a big girl. I'm not gonna lie when you get to college. Like I know you want to go out and party. I know you want to do all those things, but you have to realize like I am a student athlete. Like I have different goals than those like the regular students as far as like performance goals and stuff like that. So it's kind of being able to say no a little bit, not much. Like people think that like when you go, I can't go out, I can't do this, I can't never do that. Like I feel like I'm kind of living proof. It's like you can do what you got to do and have a good time in college. Like it's just know like okay, if I want to do this, okay, let me save 2 hours here to just do a little bit of this assignment and then I can go do whatever I want to do. Like just finding a way to use your time wisely, I think is the biggest thing. And not because a lot of times you want to rather nap or do your homework, blah, 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 but it's like, okay, which one is kind of more important right now? Or when is this assignment due? And kind of just basing it off of that. But there are some decisions that needs to be made. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do, but that's kind of why you're here. That's you came to be a student athlete. It's two parts of that. So there's a lot of things you have to give up, but it's not as bad as people think it is. Like you'll be able to do both, but you have to realize you just got to get it done by the time it's supposed to be turned in.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear because even for me, like I've been homeschooled for about like 2 years now. Well, a few more years, but on and off. And I'm not even in college yet. I'm still in high school, but the workload kind of changes, especially even doing the podcast and everything, because not only do I want to talk to other female hoopers, but I still got to get my work in too. I still got to do my homework, this, that, and the third. So it's definitely good to hear how other people balance their academics or their workload and stuff like that with training and stuff. So tell me a little bit about how you were able to sign your first pro contract out of college. How was that process?
Yeah, so when I finished my last year, there was just agents that I feel like once like agents kind of started looking for people they feel like they might want to sign or talk to during their like their last years if they know they're going to graduate. So like every now and then during my last season, I'll get like an Instagram DM from certain coaches just like good game, like good, and I wouldn't know like we would not have a conversation, but like they'll just kind of get their name out there and let me know who they are. So if you would just say like, good game, congrats on player of the month or anything like that, just kind of putting themselves in my ear. So I kind of know who they're who they are. And then as soon as I was done, they all like, I got a lot of DMs from agents wanting to like have conversations with me and just talks with me and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh gosh, like I really didn't want to do it, but I'm like, this is giving me anxiety because course, agents, they're all going to say the perfect thing. Like, they're all going to say what you hear, I can get you this, I can get you that, and stuff like that. But how do you know which one you really want to go with? It's like a hard decision. I was just like, oh gosh. And me, I suck at decisions anyway. So that was just a whole anxiety attack for me. But no, but so I talked to a few of them. It was mainly on Zoom calls.
Okay.
And just like, them asking me what I'm looking for, and I'm asking just back and forth questions about what they can offer me and stuff like that. And it was my first agent, it was more of a like what would I say? Like, what stood out to me is like he sounded like he cared more about like, okay, what do you want to do after basketball? Because he kind of talked about how like, of course I can do this, this, and this, but okay, let's say you get injured and stuff like that. Like, what do you want to do after that? So I felt like he really cared about like not just me as like a money maker, but like a person. So I think that's what drew me to the biggest thing that drew me to my first agent I had going into my first year. But I spoke with him. Once I made the decision, I talked to my coaches, talked to my mom, my parents, like just kind of making sure like, this sounded good. And after that, I let him know, and he drew up the contract. I had some people look it over for me, sign the contract in May, I think, May or June. And then it was kind of on him at that point. Like, and that's kind of the hard thing about having an agent is like, you just got to trust that they're doing what they're supposed to do, that you're marketing you in the right way. But I did trust them. And it was in, I think, July is when he texted me this was like 12 o'clock at night. And he was like, you should be getting an offer from Finland tomorrow morning. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I have to look up, okay, where's Finland? Because I've never heard of it. So I looked up, and I was like, oh, because you think of like, where could you go? I'm like, oh yeah, maybe Germany, Italy, just places I know off the top of my head. But when he was like Finland, I was like, oh gosh, where's Finland? And I was like, okay, the top of Europe. So I'm like, oh, it's cold. Okay. So I just looked up Finland, and then the next day I had a conversation. I spoke to the head coach of Finland, and again went through that whole interview process of what he's looking for, what I'm looking for, what he's looking for his program, stuff like that. It's a club, excuse me. And then talk to him, talk back to my agent, talk to my parents again, talk to my college coach. Like, I just get a lot of people's perspective, and everybody said it looked good to me. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to Finland. That was crazy because when you think, you're like, okay, coming out of college, I'm like, okay, where am I going to end up? Like, what country am I? Like, there's a whole world out there. Yep. So it was weird thinking like, wow, I'm playing in Finland. Like, that's nice. Going to Finland. Like, I don't know what else okay, packing is going to be cold. So then it's like, all right, how cold is it in Finland? What we got to pack? What we got to, then it's like, oh crap. Okay. Now I got something else to prepare for. So like before I signed with them, it was just like, stay ready. You don't know what's going to come, but now it's like, it's here. You're playing again. You're going to be in a whole new team, whole new environment, whole new country, whole new everything. You got to be ready. So once I signed, my whole mindset, I was already working, like I never stopped working, but my whole mindset, okay, now I have to perform. So it's like harder in the gym, harder in the weight room, still watching film, stuff like that, just going like 100 times harder because now I'm preparing for a season. It's not an if anymore. It's this is your job. This is what you're getting paid for. So it's like a whole new, like, all right, make sure we're ready. Because there's like if you don't come, you're out of shape or you're out of they'll let you go quick. Because like when you sign a contract, there's typically like a 2 to 6 week like tryout period where they can sometimes, where they can kind of let you go, or they can let you go at any point really, but you always kind of have this period where they make sure you're a good fit. So you have to make sure you're ready to perform, literally stepping off the plane. So, and it's crazy because when I got here in December, and I got here on a Friday and I played the Saturday.
Wow.
So there was good for me, I had a great game, but there's like, you come and you perform. You got to be ready. So I was definitely in a whole mindset once I signed, and I was excited too. It was like a really cool experience to get ready for.
Yeah.
And I think what also helped is that I lived overseas, so it wasn't like the first time going to a completely new place. Like I know how to adjust to different like environments, different like stuff like that. So it wasn't that scary for me. But it was still an adjustment period, of course, and being away from my family, all of that is hard. But it was exciting.
That's good to hear. Yeah. And like you said, especially playing overseas, there's so much basketball in the world that people don't really know about. Like, there's so many countries that play basketball and they have pro teams and stuff like that. Some countries you never even heard of. So it's like, where am I going to go next and stuff like that. I can definitely see that. So you said you really had stuff like something to work towards once you kind of were getting ready to go to Finland. So along with the training thing, did you have a certain regimen, like training regimen growing up, and how did it change once you got to the collegiate into the pro level?
Um, Growing up, I wouldn't say like it was more just kind of recreational. I think I really got a regimen when I was in high school. So when I started training, personal training for basketball, I think that's when I kind of first created like a regimen. So of course we had like regular team practice for like what, hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't remember. It seems so long ago. Like 2 hours, I guess, since I usually high school practices. 2 hours, let's say 2 hours. And then I would go straight from team practice to personal training, like straight from the gym to at least 3 days a week. I would do that, and that was 2 hours. Well, that was an hour and a half. So usually when I'm with them, I did 30 minutes of like speed, agility, lifting kind of work, and then an hour on the court with my trainer. So that was like, I think that was 3 days a week. So that's when I kind of got into my regimen there. And then of course they gave me stuff to do at home the days I'm not. So after practice, when I get home, I'm now working on the ball handling and all the drills and stuff they gave me. So that was kind of the regimen I started off in in high school. And then when I got to college, it was really kind of same thing, like, but it was now on my time. It was now my decision. So like at home, it's like my mom paid for those training sessions. So you was going. You wasn't missing out. But in college, nobody's making you get in the gym extra. Nobody's paying for it. It's all on you. So it's nothing but will and want. And I wanted to be good, so I was in the gym. And you can do it usually with your coaches or on your own. Like we had a gun, like a shooting gun machine there. So we practiced about 3 hours a day. 3 hour practices a day. And then on my free time, I would get in the gym for 30 minutes to an hour if I had to get on the gun, or I'll grab a coach and get in the gym with a coach or a teammate, or just put up shots by myself. But I knew that doing like what I did outside of practice is what got me to college. So I didn't want to stop doing that once I got to college. That just it didn't make sense to me. Why would I stop now that I made it to where I wanted to be? You know what I mean? So I was always in the gym. I was a little gym rat, especially after I tore my ACL. Because not playing basketball for 8 months, I was itching to get back out there. I was itching to get back, especially when you get back and you know there's a big gap between you and everybody else. You're like, okay, that kind of lit another fire. That's like, okay, now I gotta catch up. I got some ground to cover. So that kind of made me hungrier too to get back in the gym. So.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the hard work paying off, how you're playing in these different countries and stuff like that. And you saying you're a gym rat, and I can pretty much relate. They say it takes 10,000 hours to be great at something. So the hours that you're putting in kind of, stacking your days, stacking your hours, and you can kind of tell how it got you to where you are today. Even with you saying, it's surprising to hear that you started basketball late or started playing competitively late, because usually a lot of people say, oh, like I started too late. But I believe it's just about how much work you put in, because you can put in X amount of hours within a 10-year span, but you can put in those same hours within like a 5-year span. It's just about how much you work. So I think you're a perfect example of that. And yeah, I pretty much see that. So you said you arrived to Finland on a Friday and then you just played on a Saturday. So what was and you said you had a great game, so that's really good to hear. So what was your overall experience in Finland? Like, how was that for you?
Yeah. So when I was the arrival, that was for England. That was for when I got here. But my to answer the second part of your question, Finland, that was a really fun time. Like I really enjoyed myself in Finland. It was definitely an adjustment period because the style of play for basketball in college, well, I say college and pro and really American versus overseas, definitely different, and like kind of like both are completely different. But biggest thing is like I would say style and like tempo. Like in college, it's very fast tempo. It's very like go 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 go, quick shots, quick like everything. But when I got over here, it was very like slow. It was a lot slower, a lot more like IQ game. Like I realized I really had like my IQ wasn't where I thought it was coming out of college because of course in college everything is kind of controlled as far as like plays and well at least for where like the school I went to everything was like really controlled as far as like the plays you ran, kind of how you ran them, like it was like controlled. But and when I got here it was like yeah there were plays but like it was more read and react. Like we're gonna run a play, but it's like cut in and cheat. Like if somebody cheats it, it's like it was just a smarter game almost, and it was like definitely an adjustment period for me because I was getting ate up the beginning before I like kind of got used to it. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I'd say the tempo is very is a lot different. It's a lot slower here, but and it's a lot more vets here. Like here, you play with a lot more people who are in like closer to their 30s or in their 30s or above. So it's like people who've played for a very long time by now. So they don't have to do like they know how to just move and just do it the right way without doing too much, if that makes sense. So that was an adjustment period for me. And I think also it's also not like I realized like it's also not one thing that surprised me is that it also isn't as disciplined overseas as far as like team and just everything that like was harped on in college, just all the little stuff. I realize is not as big of an issue here. And then when I go back and think about it, I know it's okay because when you're in college, you're kind of teaching them like you're coaching 18 or 23-year-olds. Right? So it's a lot of learning and discipline that has to be put in it. But when you go overseas, it's a lot more relaxed, a lot more just kind of go with the flow, just get it done type situation. So that was also another like adjustment.
Yeah, so yeah, I can definitely see that, especially being an overseas player who like plays in different countries. There's a lot of like playing styles that you kind of have to adapt to and wherever you go because I feel like it's different everywhere. Like compared to the US, like you said, it's faster. Even in college at every level, really. Playing in high school, it's a lot faster, and a lot of people kind of work harder behind the scenes because it's so cutthroat. There's so many people who want to get to this certain level that you have to like really train. But once you go overseas, it's a whole different culture. Whether it's like training or whether it's like with the team, it's completely different. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying. So as you've been playing overseas in these different cultures, have you experienced any kind of like culture shock, like off the court? If so, then what have you experienced?
Kind of hard because we're not like I've lived overseas, so it's like it's nothing like there hasn't been a lot of stuff that happened that like I haven't expected to happen. Let me think of feeling culture shock. I don't know. That's a great question. That's a great question. I would say in Finland maybe the language. I would just say like the language itself because Finnish is a very like I went there thinking I was gonna try to learn some of it, and I quickly realized there's no way. Like it's a very strong, like aggressive language, very quick, and I'm just like, hey, y'all got it, when I got there. But I think it was like, because of course, because I was the first American to arrive that year. So before I got there, of course, they were speaking in nothing like only Finnish and practice stuff like that. So when I got there, they were still like, they would speak, of course, in English for me, but still speaking in Finnish, like for a lot of it when they're like talking to each other. So I would think that's kind of one thing that was hard for me is like, and like when we go out and stuff like that, whenever they're talking to each other, they're all talking in Finnish. So like sometimes it was like, okay, what are they saying? Or if like they ask a question in practice, they might ask the coach in Finnish. And I'm like, okay, what did she just say? Or like, can y'all let me know? Or like, it was just sometimes it was kind of hard dealing with that. Trying to think of like food, not really. Like they eat a lot of, I would say, similar stuff than we do. I don't know. I don't think there's any serious. Like I feel like the language one, probably the language barrier, probably the biggest like culture shock.
Yeah, I can definitely see that because we got here like 2 years ago and I started playing basketball here and they speak Spanish here, but I'm part Dominican, so like I knew a little bit, but it still kind of took me time to adjust. Maybe the refs were like trying to tell me something or talking to me on the side. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So I can definitely see that. But Finnish sounds like completely different. Like, definitely.
I would have loved to learn it though. Like, it just wasn't. I would have to literally live there for years, I think, in order to try to learn that fluently. But it's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely. I can definitely see that as a completely different language. So now you're in your second year pro with the Newcastle Eagles in England. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how has it been going so far? I know you said you got there in December.
Yeah, so I didn't sign until late. I was home from April till I signed with them in December. And when I got here, they actually only had played 3 games. And here started a lot later. So they had only played 3 games. So I was like, okay, perfect. Like not too much, but I did kind of miss the whole preseason, which was kind of like, of course, everybody wants that preseason to kind of learn each other, learn the system, gain that chemistry before they start playing. But that was okay. But I actually, I got here Friday. I practiced with them Friday, and we had a game Saturday. And actually, I scored 30 points. That was actually my first 30-point game of my career. I don't know what it was. It's so crazy because I did not expect it at all. Like when I got here, I was like, okay, they're probably going to want you to play. You're probably going to be jet lagged, tired, all that. But just go out there. Like literally what I said in college, like just go out there and play. Like no expectations. Like, I mean, of course, I kind of want to perform. I'm an athlete. Like, I want to perform, but like, don't go out there expecting to drop 20 points and get all like, just go out there and kind of get your legs under you. But yeah, so I scored 30 points. It was, I was like, it was kind of like a yes, kind of like, oh crap. Like, what standard did I just set for myself? Because I never scored 30 points in a game in my life. So I was like, they're going to expect me to do this every game. What did I just do? Oh crap. No, but yeah, it was like I fit and we played kind of it was a good team we played as far as like for my first game. So I was able to just kind of do what I was good at like a lot easier. But yeah, they welcomed me really good. Like we went through plays the next day. I kind of knew the plays. I kind of messed them up too. Yeah. First game, like I said, no real expectations, but the team like welcomed me with open arms. I think they like really allowed me to get touches in the first game and just kind of get my feet under me. Yeah, and I think I fit in with them really well, like really quickly. They were all welcoming, answering any questions I had, helping me with plays and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I fit in. Like when I got here, I was like, yay, so this is what I was waiting for. Okay. See, like, you know what I'm saying? When you get to some place, like you'll realize why God made you wait. Like, I was like, okay, I really feel like this was the place for me. So I was like, okay, I understand now. I was upset, but now I get it.
Yeah, that's good. That's definitely a good start to start your second season, 30 points. And you seem to be pretty comfortable right now. You're averaging 24 points per game and 9 rebounds per game. So you're hooping out there. But
So
so what after you finished your first year, what was your mentality before you even got to England? What was your mentality when just going into your second year in general?
um I would say, of course, like you always want to get better. Like I
Mhm.
think I had conversation with my agent, and he kind of let me, okay, now going into year two, this is now like you, because of course when you play overseas, you're trying to move up. Like every year you want to play for a better league, of course, make more money, of course, different places and whatnot. So it was like him. I had a conversation with my agent. It was like, okay, what I like the numbers and everything I put up last year. What are they going to be looking for this year? So, like, one example, I didn't shoot that many threes last year. And they're like, okay, if you want to play for these higher leagues, you're going to need to be able to shoot threes, or you're going to need that has to be in your bag. So I was like, okay, so going into the summer, it's like, okay, now I need to shoot more threes. And okay, let's look at field goal percentage. Your field goal percentage was this, and that. They kind of wanted to be higher. So I'm working on consistency and efficiency and kind of shooting with certain drills and stuff like that. So it's kind of like looking back at, okay, this is year one. These are the numbers I put up. What do we need to work on so they can be more consistent and more efficient in year two?
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, like when I got home, I took like 2 weeks kind of, let my body heal, like adjust back to being home. And then it was like back to work,
Uh-huh.
back to the gym, back to lifting, bigger, faster, stronger, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then of course it's a lot longer because I didn't, I was expecting to be, hopefully, I was hoping that I would be signed by June or July. But of course, June and July came and I wasn't getting any offers. And then August came, no offers. And then September, October, and I had a conversation with my agent, and like we decided to kind of part ways because I wanted to try, different directions to hopefully get me a job sooner. And then that's when I reached out to the agency that I have now, and he got me a job within what I got here December 1st. I reached out to him like the beginning of November, and he was able to get me the job here. So I'm very grateful for that. But I like again, and it's crazy because it was like I felt like I did in high school. Like
Mm-hmm.
months was going by and it was starting to get very, very last minute. And I'm like, all right, thought I had good stats last year. What's going on? Why am I
Mm-hmm.
not, why am I not getting any offers? But literally going back to what my coaches told me in high school, like just keep your head down and work.
Mm-hmm.
And this opportunity is gonna come. So I stayed in the gym, I stayed ready. And literally like because a lot of people I feel like if they don't get a job right away, like if they're not gone by not July, excuse me, by August or September, they'll like slow down on working.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I signed Tuesday, I was gone Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So people start working and don't start working until they get an offer. But
Uh-huh.
how good can you get in 2 days? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get over there, now they're out of shape and now they arrive and they get sent right back home. So
Uh-huh.
that's why you literally like the definition of stay ready so you don't have to get ready is so that you're playing overseas. You have no idea when your time's going to come or how long you'll have to prepare for it. So I'm very grateful that I did not, because mentally it was hard
Mm-hmm.
because I'm missing out. Like this is my job, and I'm not like this is what I do. So me just sitting at home on the like it was like it's hard mentally because you're like I'm like do I suck? Am I good? Was my numbers good? What's going on? But it is like
Uh-huh.
that's kind of the hard thing about playing overseas is you never know when it's going to come. It could come now, it can come months from now, but you just got to be like mentally strong enough to be able to just stay in the gym and believe that it will come. And that's what I did, and the opportunity came. And look at me now.
Yes, that's definitely some good advice for me. Because of what I plan to do the same thing in the future. So that's good to know. That's something I didn't really know. But yeah, and I think like I said earlier, how your high school experience kind of built your character. I'm a firm believer in the fact that everything happens for a reason. So I think that definitely built your character, and it kind of got you in the mental state to kind of keep working and stuff. Because like if you didn't go through that in high school, like do you think you would still kind of have the mentality to like keep working? Like how you said you reverted back to where what your coaches said before. Like I feel like your mentality wouldn't be the same if you hadn't gone through that in high school. So
yeah, it definitely gave me that chip on my shoulder. Like I mean, naturally I am still like a hard worker. Like naturally I do give my all in what I do, but that having that extra chip on my shoulder and the experience of like, if you, what is it, like just keep your head down and work, like having that actually played out the way they told me it would, I think that's a big reason why I do believe that now. So yeah, I do agree with that.
yeah, and I definitely wish you luck on all of your other endeavors after this season and stuff like that. But I know you're going to keep working. I know your mentality is like that. So now to end off the interview, we're going to do some speed questions. So there's 10 questions kind of just to get to know you a little bit as a player, and then one bonus question at the end. So you ready?
Yep.
All right. So first question is your go-to pregame song.
Oh man. My go-to pregame song. I will say it's Dominion. What's his name? Oh gosh. It's Dominion by, oh man, you make me think.
I know.
Can I look it up or no?
Yeah, you got it.
Hold up. It's Dominion by Aha Gazelle.
Gazelle. I'll have to hear it.
Yes, he's a Christian singer.
Okay. Yeah, I know how it is.
I listen to that. Well, I kind of have a whole playlist of songs, but that's a song I listen to right before I take we have to take our headphones off. So the last song I listen to, that's like, this is the final thing I'm going to hear before the game. I always play that. And it's like the beginning of the song. And it's just like, yeah, that's
good. Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Like trying to think of the artist, and it's like I know the song, I know how it goes, but who sings it?
Exactly.
All right. So second question is favorite hoop shoes at the moment.
Oh man, my Sabrina's. I just got a pair of Sabrina Nescu's hair shoes, and those are my go-tos right now.
What colorway do you have?
I have the like turquoise. It's like a mint blue and purple colorway. They're really nice. Yes.
Yeah, I just got the pink and orange ones, the West Coast.
Oh, something. I was trying to get those, but I couldn't find them here.
Really?
They cannot find them in my size here. I was so upset. Those are the ones I wanted.
But I like those better, the turquoise one, because I didn't see them until later. I was like, dang, I should have got those. But
yeah, I saw them and they had my size, and I was like, yep, I guess we're getting these. I'm done looking. And then when I got them, I was like, oh, these actually are back. Okay, cool.
They're definitely some pretty good shoes to hoop in. All right. So next question is top 3 players. It could be male, female, all time, whatever.
Okay. Top 3. Aja Wilson. I am a big Aja Wilson, South Carolina fan. I literally watched her since her freshman year there. Aja Wilson. I like Arike Gumawale. I love her grit, just how she plays. She's a hooper. And who's my third one? Who's number 3? I would say right now I'm a big Kelsey Plum fan, just because just like her injuries and just how she just had to prove herself to the league, and now she's like one of the top players. I commend her and I really respect her game for that. So yeah, Aja Wilson, Arike Gumawale, and Kelsey Plum, I would say right now.
I agree. Aja Wilson, she's a really, really good player. MVP and everything like that. And have you read her book? Have you got a chance to?
I haven't. No, not yet. I do plan on it though.
I want to get it. I didn't get the chance to get it. I was just in the U.S. like last week, but yeah, it seems like a really good book and what it's about and stuff like that, like deeper than basketball. So I plan on reading it too. So next question: what is your go-to move? I feel like everybody has that one move that kind of always works. What is that for you?
To be honest, I'm a pull up. I just like the freak like a jab, just one dribble pull up. Like that's pull up is my bread and butter. Mid range, that is what I do. So literally just jab, pull up is my go to. I'm not like the big like star between the legs, behind the back. I'm not that kind of player. I'm like a very simple, just one dribble pull up.
That's perfect though, because I feel like the mid range is kind of overlooked. Everybody wants to do layups and shoot long threes, but mid range, it's like one of the shots that people don't really take. So if you have that, you master that skill, it really just takes your game to another level. So yeah. So I want you to describe your game in 3 words.
Words. Good one. I would say gritty. Gritty, strong. I would say gritty, like strong, and gritty, strong, and passionate.
Gritty, strong, passionate. Those are 3 good components to have. Definitely. All right, next one. What's your favorite basketball movie?
Oh, that's funny. It's just any movie about basketball, like something that like inspired me or something like that.
Any movie.
You know what? People might laugh at me about this, but growing up, I was a High School Musical fan.
Really? High School Musical. I remember watching it a little bit, but not too much. But definitely, that's definitely a different answer. I wasn't expecting. I was expecting maybe like Love and Basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first thing I was like, I know that's what everybody's probably going to say. I'm like, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. So
but Love and Basketball, I love that movie too, though. That's a classic.
Yeah, a classic.
So
High School Musical. I'm going to see if anybody else answers High School Musical.
I'll bet you nobody will.
Probably not. I'm probably going to get a bunch of Love and Basketballs like Mike. White Man Can't Jump. All right, so next question. What's up?
No, go ahead.
Oh, next question. What is the coolest environment you've played in?
I would say this year, I was selected for the British Basketball League All-Star Weekend, All-Star roster, and that was probably the coolest environment, like having just all the best players in our league and just a whole packed arena, like just coming out and just playing with them. I've never been in an All-Star game before, so that was probably the coolest environment I think I've played in. I felt important. I felt like I was heard for a little bit, you know.
Yeah, that's how you gotta feel.
Yeah, that was a cool experience.
That's good. That's the one you vlogged on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely. I feel like in Europe and these other places, like there's so much basketball fans because they can't just like go to the Frostbank Arena or whatever and watch an NBA game. So I feel like all the time, like I see on Instagram and like social media, like the arenas are like packed. There's like so many fans and the environment is really cool over there. So I'd love to play over there. So talking about playing in different locations, what's your dream location to play right now?
After being in 2 places, I want to play somewhere warm. Like I want to play somewhere that has like a beach and is like warm. I would literally anywhere that's just warm, like I mean, Spain is even warmer, or just somewhere like Portugal, or just somewhere that has a beach. Like, I want to be somewhere where I can be outside a lot, just be by the water, really. And I think I'm getting lower and lower. I was in Finland at the top. I'm England now. So, like, I don't know, maybe God is guiding me there.
Yep, maybe you'll end up in Costa Rica one day. You go to the beach.
I would play in Costa Rica. That's a good one too.
It's really hot out here, but usually it's either really hot or raining, so it's one or the other. But
here too, England, it rains here a lot too.
Really? Yeah. So what do you think separates you from everyone else at your position?
I think it's just how hard I work. Like, I'm a workhorse. I've always been. And like, I'm willing, like, I'm good at like taking advantage when other people are tired or other people don't want to do it. I do it. And I think that's what separates me. Like,
yeah. I can definitely see that. You're a hard worker. That's a good trait to have, because a lot of people don't have that. You know how people say hard work beats talent and stuff like that. So the second somebody else is not like working as hard as they were, you kind of have the way to kind of pass them up in skill or whatever it is. So that's definitely a good trait to have. So I know you say you grew up playing like all the sports, multiple sports. If it wasn't basketball that you went pro in, what sport do you think you would go pro in?
Softball.
What's that?
Softball.
Softball. Okay.
Yeah, I was into that one heavy before I switched to basketball. So I think if I never switched, I would have stayed with softball.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who play softball, and I wanted to like get into it when I was younger, but I just never had the access and stuff like that. But I really think it's a cool sport.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool game. I enjoy it. I miss it sometimes, but I still think I made the right decision. So I don't miss it.
That's good. That's good. All right. So for the final question, the bonus question, what's a piece of advice you would give someone who aspires to be in your position?
Oh, man. Honestly, just don't, like, if this is something you want, I would say, one, kind of like what we're doing, like, find people who are in that position that you can, like, talk to and, like, look up after and, like, get advice and stuff like that from. And, like, always be the hardest worker in the room. Like, always put in that extra effort that those around you, like, makes you the separator. Like, do not blend in. Always be the hardest worker in the room. Always do the most, like, when no one's looking, because that's what's going to get you where you need to go. If you really want it, be the separator.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take that in my mind. I definitely appreciate that. I definitely appreciate you being on the podcast as well. That was the final question. So, yeah, thanks for taking your time out of your day to be here. So, yeah.
Of course. And thank you so much for asking me to do this. Like, when I read your post, I was like, your DM, I was like, oh, because I'm like the same way I feel like you are with like your podcast. Like, I was nervous starting mine because I was like, oh gosh, is anybody going to watch this? Is anybody going to like it? Am I doing this for nothing? But getting your DM really made me feel like, okay, I am helping someone or just like inspiring someone. So it really made me feel good. So I really do appreciate that. And like, what you're doing is great. Like, the more people you can get, of course, the better. And you're really good at this. Like, you're natural. This was really good. So keep doing what you're doing, because you're going to help a lot of people.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, for you too, I wish you the best in your overseas journey. I'm going to keep following, keep watching the vlogs and stuff like that. So just keep it up.